Hey everyone, we're back for another workout of the day. Today is another modified macro workout, as I am still healing for a few more weeks. So it is called Heat Wave. It is 4 rounds for time. It is 20 shoulder taps with your legs elevated, 20 weighted step ups, 20 air squats, 10 per arm dumbbell presses, and 20 bird dogs. So we're going to go through all of those movements and the modifications, and then you can get started. Okay, so the first movement is going to be our shoulder taps. So the important part is that we want to make sure that we're keeping our body still and we're not moving from side to side. We want our hips to stay squared with the floor. So I'm going to show you first, facing you. You can make sure your legs are not, your feet aren't together. You want them at least the hip width apart. And you can go a little bit wider for a little bit more stability depending on where you are at with your level. So we want to squeeze those abs nice and tight, and we want no movement of our body. We don't want to be moving back and forth. We just want to be nice, controlled taps as we squeeze our abs together. This one, if you want to add a little bit extra, you can do elevated just slightly. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can do this with plates stacked like I am, or you can use a box and go a little bit higher. But again, we want nice, controlled movements. We really want to engage that core and body, and no hip movement. So if you want an even more modified version, you can go on your knees and tap this way. And again, this is what it looks like sideways. Shouldn't be a very fast movement. Yes, the workout is for time, but we really want to make sure we're engaging everything so that we're really accomplishing what that movement is supposed to do. So the next thing is weighted step ups. Now, I'm still modified, so I can't step up very high, but you don't really want to go more than a parallel box size. So I have my plate set up nice and low for me. We want to make sure that we step up onto the box or onto the plates and whatever you're using, and we want to lead with that one leg until it's straight, and then you're going to place that other leg, step off, and just switch legs. And again, you want to fully extend that leg on the box before you put the other foot on. Now you can use 2 dumbbells, you can use 1, and again, we're just stepping onto the plate, controlled movements. Really, again, make sure your core and back are straight while you're doing this with weight. It's easy to think, especially if you're going for a lower height, it's easy to think, oh, it's easy. But it's easy to let that core go or lean back with the weight. We want to be straight up and down, really making sure that we're supporting everything correctly. So the next one is going to be air squats. Now I can't go past parallel right now, so I will show you. Well, I'm not even supposed to go, not really supposed to go to parallel, but just so for those that are doing regular air squats, you want your feet about hip width apart, toes slightly out, pointed outward, and we want our knees to come out, not forward, and not in. So really fight from coming in, and we want to keep our back and core, everything engaged and straight. We don't want to be leaning. We don't want to be leaning back. We want to come straight up and down with our feet flat on the ground. So in order to do that, we want to make sure that we bring those knees out. That's going to allow our feet to stay flat. That's going to allow us to come straight up and down. So we're going to come down. And for me right now, I'm squatting to a box. So feel free to squat to a bench or box. Now, when you do this though, you don't want to rock up. You want to, if you want to just slightly touch with your butt and stand back up, or if you need to sit down, make sure that you're using the legs and not the swing, not the rock momentum to stand up. We really want to get those legs working and engaged. If you're doing this wrong, which a lot of people tell you, I hear a lot in different gyms when I'm moving around and visiting different gyms, people tell you to point your toes forward. Now, I tell you to point your toes slightly outward and bring those knees out, because if we're pointing straight forward, our knees are going to follow where our toes are. And if you can see, I'm coming at a line. I'm not in line, nothing, so things aren't supporting. So if I move my toes slightly outward and come down straight, I can stay in that nice straight upright position and make sure that my feet aren't rolling up onto my toes if I had it straight forward. The next movement is going to be our dumbbell press. Now, we can modify this a few ways, but let's go with the dumbbell first. And again, I'm going to tell you to engage your core. So if you notice, that is a big theme with everything, is engaging your core, because it's so important, because it supports everything the right way. Especially with me, with the hip injury that I'm recovering from, or hip surgery, I should say, that I'm recovering from, I have to make sure that I'm supporting everything, correctly. So we're going to do 10 per arm. We're going to rest that one part of the dumbbell onto our shoulder here. We're going to engage the core, and we want to go straight up. So make sure you're picking a weight that you can go straight up. You don't want to be leaning one way or the other. We want to make sure that we go straight up and just come down to that shoulder. We don't need to come past. That's when you're going to put a lot of strain on your shoulder and elbow. So just come down to your shoulder. And again, no rocking back and forth. Now, modification, if you have a band, you can do presses with the band. Just stand up, stand on one end of the band. And again, no moving back and forth, just straight up and down as we engage that core. Next movement is going to be our bird dog. I had this conversation with someone the other day, and I was like, I really don't understand why it's called bird dog. So if you know why it's called the bird dog, I would love to hear a comment below. But a bird dog, we are going to be in this hands and knees position. We want to be nice and square, right? And we're going to do opposite hand and opposite foot. So we want to, guess what? Engage our core. We really want to squeeze that core and do this movement kind of slow, just like our shoulder taps. This is a deliberate movement in order to get something out of it. So squeeze those abs really nice and tight. Keep that back straight. And you're going to go opposite hand, opposite foot, come down, opposite hand, opposite foot. So as we engage, we're going to make sure that we're not moving back and forth. The goal here is to keep those hips squared with the floor. We never want to be moving the hips. A lot of people, when they come up, they're doing like a swing stroke we don't want to do that. Again, I can do it facing. I feel like sideways is probably better, but we're going to just do opposite hand, opposite foot, really squeezing that core the whole time. Modifications, you can just do hands, again, really squeezing, or you can just do feet squeezing the whole time. So again, core, 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 everything that we do in this workout, in any workout, we're engaging that core. So that's the important part. So that is the workout for the day. It's 4 rounds. Make sure that you write down your movements and your times and weights and revisit and see your progression.